Most men think making a woman addicted to them means being flashy, overly romantic, or constantly available. But here's the truth. The real power lies in silence, self-control, and stoic presence. If you're chasing, over-explaining, or trying to impress her with words, you've already lost. What truly makes her stay, obsess, and crave your attention? Dominance, detachment, and emotional tension. Not fake confidence, real inner power. And it's not just about attraction. It's about control, influence, and lasting impact. But here's the kicker. If you miss one step of what I'm about to show you, you'll either look like a fool or worse, get emotionally played. So stay sharp. Stick around. The rules are about to flip. If this message is already making something click inside you, do me a small favor. Hit the like button, share this video with a brother who needs it, and drop a quick comment. You never know who's waiting to hear exactly this. Let's break down how this all works from the inside out, and why mastering the mental game is where everything begins. The invisible game she doesn't even know she's playing. Imagine this. You walk into a room, say nothing, and somehow she can't stop looking at you. What just happened? No cheesy lines, no flexing, just energy. That's the kind of irresistible energy most men will never understand because they're too busy trying. The truth is, when you master the mental game, when you stop chasing and start pulling, you instantly stand out. And she feels it before you even speak. That's not luck. That's self-mastery in motion. Most guys think attraction starts with a good opener or a confident walk. But what really hooks a woman's emotions happens long before the first word. It starts in how you own the space you're in. Your stoic presence, your nonchalance, your ability to radiate calm certainty. These are signals. Not loud ones, but emotional triggers that hit her subconscious. And once she feels that imbalance, once she notices you're calm while others try too hard, curiosity begins. Here's a secret. Women don't become addicted to attention. They become addicted to the absence of it when it comes from the man they want. That's scarcity at work. When you're always available, when you're constantly texting, explaining, proving you're predictable. And nothing kills emotional obsession faster than predictability. The less effort you put into showing off, the more she invests in figuring you out. Mystery is fuel, and you control the flame. Now picture this. Two men texting the same woman. One floods her inbox with hearts and compliments. The other disappears for hours, sometimes days, without explanation. Guess which one she's thinking about more? That's strategic withdrawal in real time. You don't need to be cold or rude. You just need to be detached from outcome. And suddenly, your silence becomes a psychological imprint. She starts associating that gap with craving. That's not manipulation. That's understanding female psychology. There's a reason pursuit dynamics matter. If you're always there, always ready, always eager, she doesn't chase. And the moment she stops chasing, the game is over. So flip it. Be the high-value man who's not afraid to pause, to disappear, to make her miss you. The man who lives by purpose, not notifications. Create emotional tension by not rushing to relieve hers. That tension, that's what makes her want to resolve it with you. Let me make something clear. This isn't about playing games. It's about owning your dominance without ever raising your voice. It's about self-control, not silence for punishment. When you understand your value, when you lean into your inner power, every move becomes intentional. Every pause, every glance, every boundary you hold tells her something louder than words. You're not chasing. She's earning. That frame alone shifts the dynamic, and she feels it in her gut. And if you're thinking, but what if she walks away? Good, let her. Because the moment you fear losing her, you've already surrendered the frame. Masculine frame is about being immovable, especially when she tests you. And trust me, she will. Her subconscious wants to feel emotional pull, but only from someone who can handle it. Most men collapse, but you're about to learn how to hook her emotions without lifting a finger. And here, a quick pause, because if this is already lighting a fire in your mind, don't just sit there watching. Hit that like button right now and subscribe, because what you're seeing here, it's just the surface. We're about to go even deeper into things that will shift how you see women, relationships, and yourself forever. This kind of content isn't easy to find, So if it's helping, don't miss what's coming next. Women are biologically wired to respond to uncertainty, not confusion, but unpredictability within emotional safety. That's where desire loops are born. When she thinks she has you, then doubts it, then feels you again, her brain releases dopamine, just like an addict. But here's the trick. The loop only works when you control your emotional availability. Be clear, but never completely accessible. Show just enough to pull, then disappear to let the craving build. You don't need six-pack abs, a luxury car, or 10 pickup lines. What you need is seductive confidence, the kind that says, "I don't need you to validate me." That's rare. That's magnetic. That's what makes her lean in while others push. Most guys mistake loud confidence for power, but real power is silent. It's in your stoic presence when she tests you. It's in your calm when she explodes. That's when she truly sees you. Let's get practical. Next time she pulls away, don't chase. Don't double text. Don't ask what's wrong. Instead, detach. Wait. Let her come back. And when she does, don't reward the drama, reward the reconnection. That's how you train the dynamic. It's not about punishing. It's about reinforcing emotional tension that creates value. Every time you react, you teach her she's in control. But when you hold the line, she sees you differently. She feels your self-control. Think of your attention like gold. The more you give it freely, the less it's worth. But if she has to earn it, if she has to wonder where she stands, your presence becomes premium. That's how you create scarcity. And in scarcity, value skyrockets. The men who win aren't louder. They're just less available, more focused, and emotionally grounded. The ones who move with mystery, not desperation. And that's what makes her stay up at night. Now let me tell you a quick story. Jason was your average guy, nice, available, always texting. He got friend-zoned more times than he could count. But once he stopped explaining himself, stopped over-investing, and started leading with masculine frame and strategic withdrawal, something flipped. The same women who ignored him before started reaching out, initiating, chasing. Why? Because he became a high-value man, not through words, but through presence. And that changed everything. Here's what Jason did that you can copy right now. He stopped reacting emotionally. When a woman canceled, he didn't argue, he just moved on. He started setting boundaries early. If someone crossed them, he walked. He began speaking less, but with more weight. He focused on building his inner power, reading, lifting, meditating. All of this created a shift. He became less accessible and more intriguing. That's the power of psychological imprint in action. And listen, this isn't just about getting women to chase. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to chase. The kind whose life is so full, so disciplined, that he doesn't flinch when someone pulls away. That level of stoicism doesn't just attract women, it earns respect. And once she respects you, emotional obsession becomes possible. Not because you forced it, but because she feels safer losing herself in your strength. Let's go even deeper. The reason most guys fail is because they try to win her over instead of building a reality she wants to enter. Stop trying to impress her. Start becoming a man she wants to orbit. That means developing your routine, your body, your mind. Let her feel like she's entering a world already moving. When she senses you're not dependent on her attention, your nonchalance becomes addictive. It makes her chase hard. There's something powerful about a man who doesn't rush, a man who listens more than he speaks, who leaves spaces in conversation. That's not awkward, that's control. Silence, when held with confidence, becomes pressure. It creates a psychological imprint, a moment she remembers. Let your words be measured. Let your pauses have weight. That's how you make her lean in, curious, unsure. And the more unsure she is, the more she invests emotionally. That's how you lead. Now imagine this. She's ranting, emotional, throwing bait to get a rise out of you. What do most guys do? They react. They try to calm her. They get flustered. But not you. You breathe. You hold your ground. You stay calm, composed. That stoic presence under pressure sends a message louder than shouting ever could. It tells her you're unshakable. That's where dominance begins. Not in volume, but in emotional stability. And it's intoxicating to her. Let's be honest, emotional addicts aren't born, they're conditioned. And you condition a woman's emotions with patterns. Patterns of pulling away when she expects closeness. Patterns of returning when she values you again. This isn't cruelty, it's design. Create desire loops by being unpredictable within boundaries. Let your rhythm have contrast, soft and firm, present and gone, warm and distant. These contrasts are the backbone of obsession. They confuse the brain, and the brain loves the puzzle. One of the most underestimated traits, silence. Not the passive kind, but the charged kind. The kind where your presence says more than your mouth. Most men rush to fill every gap, but she remembers the man who left her space to feel. She remembers how he made her reflect, question, yearn. That's when emotional pull kicks in. And from that pull, she spirals into thinking, replaying, fantasizing. And you just live your life. Don't confuse validation with begging. You can validate her value without giving away your power. A simple compliment, placed after a moment of silence, hits deeper than 10 texts in a row. Why? Because of scarcity. Because it's not your default. When she feels she has to earn that moment, it becomes meaningful. That's how you train her emotional expectations. You lead, you set the tempo, and she naturally calibrates to your frequency. A real high-value man knows that his attention is a currency, and like any currency, it devalues when printed in excess. So give less with more weight. Let her feel your absence. Let her wonder where you went. Let her scroll your stories and find nothing. That's not ignoring, it's investing in mystery. And that mystery builds interest. Interest builds craving. And craving, when unanswered, becomes emotional tension. That's how you become the thought she can't shake. You ever notice how the men who say the least often command the most respect? It's not an accident. That's the weight of inner power. It doesn't shout. It doesn't explain. It simply exists. When you embody that calm certainty, your presence does the talking. You walk into a room, and people look without knowing why. That's irresistible energy in action. And women feel it instantly. They may not understand it, but their body reacts before their mind. Here's something wild. The moment you stop trying to be liked, you become attractive. Why? Because you've removed the need for validation. Most guys operate like approval addicts, constantly performing, pleasing, adjusting. But when you let go of that, you become unpredictable, uncontrollable. And in her world of guys trying to impress her, that makes you different. You become the mystery, and that mystery builds curiosity. And curiosity, when unresolved, fuels obsession. Let's be clear, self-mastery is the foundation of all of this. If you can't master your reactions, your schedule, your focus, you'll always be at the mercy of her emotions. That's not power. That's slavery dressed as romance. But when you lead your life with discipline, when your actions reflect your values, not her moods, she feels it, and she trusts it. That's what allows emotional triggers to take root and grow into attachment. But only if you lead. And now, real quick, if this is shifting the way you think about attraction, don't wait. Hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment, because what's coming next? It's built to rewire you. Stay with me. Let's talk body language. You could say everything right, but if your eyes dart, your shoulders slump, or you lean in too much, your frame collapses. A woman reads these signals in milliseconds. So hold your ground. Literally, sit back, speak slowly, keep eye contact until she looks away first. That's dominance without saying a word. That's how you physically demonstrate masculine frame, by not folding under pressure, by making her adjust to your presence, not the other way around. It's wild how powerful restraint can be, saying no to last-minute plans. Leaving her on red for a few hours, not as punishment, but because you're busy building. That's strategic withdrawal. You're showing that your time isn't a free-for-all. You're communicating self-control. And when she starts rearranging her schedule just to fit into your world, you'll realize you didn't force it. You created pursuit dynamics by simply living by your priorities first. A woman can sense desperation, even if you mask it with humor, gifts, or charm. But she can also sense peace. When you're rooted in purpose, she feels the difference. You're not trying to be chosen. You're choosing. And when she feels that selective energy, her emotional tension spikes. She starts evaluating herself. Am I enough for him? That's when the script flips. That's when female psychology does the chasing. Not because you asked, but because you became the prize. Let's be honest. You're not just learning how to get the girl, you're learning how to stop giving your power away. And the moment that clicks, everything changes. You stop overthinking texts. You stop measuring responses. You stop living on edge. You stand still, and everything else begins to orbit you. That's not ego. That's Stoicism applied in the real world. When you master that, she doesn't just want you. She needs to figure out why you don't need her. When you stop centering women in your life, something interesting happens. They start centering you in theirs. It's not about hate, coldness, or manipulation. It's about priority. Build your body, your business, your circle. Live your life like it matters more than her attention. That's how you radiate irresistible energy, because you've built a world she wants to enter, not one begging for her presence. That shift in focus is what pulls her deeper, without force. Women don't fall for words. They fall for feelings, and especially the ones they can't explain. That's why you must become the source of emotional pull, not logic, not convenience, but emotional tension that lingers after you're gone. She can't describe why she thinks about you at 2 a.m., why she rereads your messages, why your silence feels louder than someone else's attention. That's the effect of psychological imprint, and it only happens when you stop being obvious. Here's a truth most won't tell you. Attraction fades fast when there's no mystery. The moment she can predict your every move, you lose the edge. So protect your inner world. Reveal slowly. Let her earn access to your emotions. Let her obsess over what you're thinking. This gives her a mission, a reason to come back, a puzzle to solve. And the more time she spends solving it, the deeper she falls. It's how her mind works. So what does this all come down to? It's about self-mastery, not pretending, not acting alpha, but actually becoming the man who doesn't flinch, doesn't chase, and doesn't apologize for knowing his worth. A man who commands without controlling, who seduces without speaking, who walks away not to punish, but because he doesn't tolerate anything beneath his standard. That's masculine frame. And once you live in it, she feels it before you ever touch her. And this was just the surface. You now understand the invisible game. But in the next topic, we'll dive into the most overlooked mistake men make that destroys everything we've just built without them even realizing it. The emotional trap disguised as connection, and how to reverse it before it's too late. Now it's your turn. You've just unlocked a level of insight that 99% of men will never even get close to because they're too busy trying to impress instead of becoming. So now I'll ask you, are you willing to stop chasing and start leading? Are you ready to flip the script and become the man she can't stop thinking about without losing your dignity in the process? Start applying what you learned today. Observe how she reacts when you no longer rush to text. Watch what changes when you hold silence instead of over-explaining. Begin owning your stoic presence. Every little adjustment matters, and when you stack them, you stop looking like an idiot and start living like a king. Here's what I want to know from you. What's the one behavior you're going to change starting today? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. If you're feeling bold, comment, I lead, she follows. Just those 4 words. Let's see who's really ready to claim their power. Thank you truly for sticking with me until the end of this video. Your time is valuable, and the fact that you spent it here means something. I don't take it lightly. So if this resonated with you in any way, please take a moment to like the video. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so we can keep growing together. This journey isn't over. In fact, we're just getting started.